Check. 1, 2,
Check.
1, 2.
Now spit a freestyle.
Let's do it.
I know one of y'all got a freestyle.
Tucked in.
Yeah, somewhere deep inside you got one. I know it.
One. I don't want to do it though.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
I don't got.
All right, fine.
Every time they tell me freestyle, I just start spitting J lines.
Fine. Rashad and Troy are here. Earn your leisure. Spot 105.1.
Yeah.
Authors, podcasters, financial literacy gurus. What else are you?
I mean, those are the titles right there.
What else you got? Give me another title.
Fathers,
husbands.
Yes.
What are you? You're not a father or a husband yet. What are you?
I'm
you
a
streets.
father.
You're a father. You're a father.
He's a father.
Sure.
He's definitely a father. Yeah.
Problem in the streets.
Humble servants.
Humble servants.
Yeah, we'll take that.
But really, right now, authors. That's why we're here today. Congratulations. This is super dope.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It is. I know what it is to do a book. It's like a long haul effort.
It's a process.
That's our first one too. So
yeah, that's what I mean. It's
having
like
our first kid.
You can't slap it together. It takes a long time. Did you do a audiobook yet too?
Yeah.
We did. We
read it. We read it.
You
ourselves.
did read it. So hours and hours to do that.
Yeah, somebody in your ear telling you, read that over. Hey, say that with a little bit more feeling. Hey, there's a period there. So yeah, man, it's like you back in school again.
Well, we're going to talk about this book today. We're going to talk about some of the gems and the jewels and share them with folks. We're going to talk about, what else we're going to talk about today? Podcast is doing well.
Podcast
the show is,
well.
you do these events. The events are going well, right?
Invest Fest
will
be back for its 5th rendition. Which
is it 5 already?
It's 5, yeah.
Holy
August,
shit.
We've taken over the city of Atlanta 4 years in a row, so we're going to run it back one more year. So yeah, we're excited about that.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
What's your vibes right now today? And there's a lot of weird shit going on in the world. We were talking about this yesterday briefly, but like, there's a lot of weirdness going on in the world. Are you affected? Are you like, oh, business as usual? Let me go. Like, how do you respond?
It's always something. I feel like it's always something happening.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but the show must go on. Definitely. Always thinking about the less fortunate though, and people that are suffering. And it seems like that's always the case. Overseas, domestically, it's always something. And social media now, you get to see it 24 hours a day.
I know.
Like before, you might watch it on the news if you watch the news or you read the newspaper. But now it's like, as soon as you scroll, you're going to see something that's really heartbreaking.
And people look also for the most heartbreaking and then put the heartbreaking song on top of it. It's like the trauma porn of social media. Yeah.
14 times.
But the crazy thing is, I was telling the room earlier, I have a television that lets me see local news in different places.
Okay.
So I'm watching the local news in Los Angeles all day today.
Oh boy.
And watching on the ground what people are going through right now is really also traumatizing.
I never really saw anything like that. I mean, LA gets fires all the time, but
this is different.
Nothing like this.
They had the statistic again on social media in 1985. The amount of money that the state of California spent on wildfires was like $14 million. Fast forward to 2025, this looks like this is going to be hundreds of billions.
50 billion.
Like
and not enough.
That won't be, and we don't. It's not over yet, right? Like so, we don't even know. It's horrific, but something's happening, right? Whether it's, if you don't believe in climate change, something's happening that is causing this to be occur more and more.
Do you believe in climate change?
I believe, yeah. I mean,
I know
these things are showing it, right? Like,
hello,
the winters, the summers. I mean, the ocean temperature, like all those things are just not happening by coincidence.
I just saw this story too, and I was thinking about you guys. I was like, I wonder what you know about this, but I know that a lot of like fire insurance, like on people's home, has been canceled as of recently.
We just posted that a lot of homes in the Palisades area, which is one of the areas affected by the fires, they canceled their fire insurance. The companies canceled their fire insurance like 3 months ago.
What is that about?
It's just like a lot of places that have floods, right? They're like, it's like if it becomes too much of a risk for the insurance company, they're like, we're not going to insurance anymore, because insurance companies make money. So they have to have not a lot of claims for them to make money off of the premiums. But if there's more claims than the premiums that they collected, then it's not in their best interest to insure it anymore. So there is some level of, I think, state insurance still. But yeah, a lot of homeowners don't have insurance, and their home burned down. So now they got to try to figure it out. They're going to have to go through FEMA and go through the state. And, that's going to be a hassle whenever the government gets involved. So
yeah, for sure.
It's an unfortunate situation, but it is a learning experience as well.
What is the lesson?
Make sure that you got insurance. Make sure where you're moving is like you always want to move to these like even coastal areas in Florida, but it's like okay, if a hurricane happens, what happens? Right? You on the water, it's a beautiful view, but you're talking about climate change. They're saying that in 50 years, South Beach is not going to be there anymore, like how we know it. So is it worth it? Maybe not. You just got to take that into consideration. That's why even areas like in Miami is interesting inland, like Little Haiti, is actually becoming more and more valuable because now the places that was inland that were not valuable because they was inland is actually valuable now because that's like one of the only areas in Miami that's actually on high ground.
Wow.
And not below water.
Wow. What about if you're like one of those people that insurance was canceled and you have to like rebuild? Like even financially, what does that look like for people? How do you even begin?
I mean, it's difficult, right? Like from what we've been seeing, it's affluent areas, but like that costs. Like I'm building a house right now. Like the amount of money that goes into that, you've lost everything. Most of these people have lost all their belongings, memories. They have their lives, which is the most important thing. But that rebuild process, number one, is an emotional toll, right? Like I was watching people on the news going back to seeing what they were just in their house 5 hours ago, and now it's gone. The emotional, the financial burden is just if you don't have a reserve, right? Some people don't, right? Like they've built this home and this is it. I put all my money into this. Now what, right? You don't have insurance. So what do? Do you have somebody to lean on? Do you have a place you can now go? These are those questions like having a plan before you make any type of purchase is important. But like, it's a timely lesson. It's an unfortunate lesson as well.
Super unfortunate. Yeah. God bless, man. Our thoughts and prayers, of course, to everybody out there dealing with that. And then, from what you guys are good at in terms of the bread, like recovery in that, like when somebody's down, take the fires out of it.
Yeah.
People are having hard times out here in other ways. Like people are going broke in many ways. Like what is the first step in rebuilding if you've lost everything? Is that one of your lessons in here? It should be, if not.
For sure.
Okay.
Like looking at your situation, paying off debt, managing your. You gotta be honest. Sometimes you gotta have a sit down with yourself and have an honest conversation with yourself. Like you try to run from it and you spending more money than you make. You putting stuff on credit cards. You still going out every night. You still going to the clubs, and that is actually running from your reality. Sometimes you gotta realize, like, damn, like I'm messed up. I can't afford to go out right now. I got to sit down for 6 months. I got to sit down for a year. I got to cut back. This Christmas, we're not doing Christmas. Like you got to have some real conversations with yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have those conversations. It's easy to mask that kind of financial trauma or to just fake it. Like, you know what I mean? Act like you're okay, but you're really not. So it's the same thing with any type of, even like you're going through a breakup, psychological trauma. It's the same thing. People mask their insecurities and mask what they're going through, but ultimately that's just going to keep you deeper and deeper in the hole. So we talk about that for sure, like facing your financial trauma, looking yourself in the mirror, like making hard decisions, paying off your credit card. It's not like just a one quick thing where you become a millionaire overnight. Like it's going to take discipline, but I feel like it just depends on what's more important to you. If staying where you at is okay, then you're going to stay where you at. But if you really want to go places in life, then you got to make sacrifices.
You got to make some changes.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to do that? Either one of you, like, have that talk with yourself?
Yeah, for
sure. Yeah, of course.
What did you cut? What did you do? What did you have to do?
I made it a few times. I remember I purchased a car, and I was just like,
what kind of car was it?
It was a BMW.
Of course it was.
Of course it was.
Of course it was.
I'm Jamaican. We got to get a BMW. Yeah, so
did you have a whole kit on it?
I didn't do the kit. They had just changed the body, so it was dope. Growing up,
it was fresh as it was.
Yeah, you just dream of having this BMW, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And I was trying to make
this. It's my birthday. They're giving me Tuesday early.
Shout out to the Duce team.
Sorry.
And it was just like, I can afford this, or I thought I could, just because I wanted to show, like, I got a job, I got a career now.
Is this why you're like already earn your leisure, like you pop in, or
you got to make some mistakes.
But I'm saying, were you making mistakes as earn your leisure?
Oh no, this is prior to all this.
Okay,
this is a younger version of myself.
Got it.
And quickly realized, like, hey, you can't afford this.
What'd you do? Sold the car?
I didn't sell the car, which is the ironic thing. I tried to figure out more ways to make money, which was helpful, right? I'm going to do overtime. When I was working in the school, I'd start doing after-school programs, or I'll take another job on the weekend. And so I just tried to figure out more ways to make money, not realizing, like, hey, there's more debt coming because as I'm going to school, I know I'm accumulating student loan. but I got this debt for this car. And I'm like, every time I pay this off, the car is depreciating because I'm driving it crazy. Then I had to get repairs. I'm just like, I put myself in a financial burden. But I was happy that I did it early, right? Because most people do it late and they can't come out of it. And I was like, all right, I got an option here. The next time I get a car, I can do this again and replicate it, or I can get something that I can afford. And obviously, I didn't learn from it. I did it again. But I was more prepared for next time. Yeah, you know how we do. We're like, I could do it this time. I'll make more money. But that's the mistake, right? We think as we make more money, we got to spend more money.
Yeah.
So as you make more money, you should actually start spending less.
Do you feel like now, because we look at you for advice. People call you for advice. You have a whole career on giving people advice. You got a book, a podcast. Do you feel the pressure of not making financial mistakes?
I think people enjoy that. I think
what do you mean?
They enjoy watching us do, and they can learn from us. So like in the book, like we talk about our story as we're growing as young men and men. But they've watched every piece of this journey for us. And so they see a lot of commonalities, right? So when I make that mistake with a car, guess what? You're going to learn from that. You're not going to do that. When my family makes a mistake about getting an adjustable rate mortgage, right? You're going to realize, like, wait, adjustable rate, I've heard this before. Let me go with the fixed rate route, right? Like you're going to start, when we're investing in the stock market, here's what we're looking at. Prior to that, you may not even heard of the stock market or how to trade. And you're like, wait, I'm going to learn from the mistakes that they're doing. So there's a process in it that, yes, it's inspirational, but it's also an educational process that, like, Hov did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
I think it's more pressure not to let yourself down, really.
That's true.
I think that's what you was asking, like, as far as, like...
Like now that people know you for this. You built a thing. Now it's like...
Yeah, no, I mean...
It's different when people don't know really what... You know what I mean? And you're coming up. But it's another thing when, like, oh, you're an expert?
Well, like I said, it's not even that. It's you got to do two things in life. You got to make money, and then you got to... Don't be stupid and blow the money. If you could do those two things, you'll be okay. So we making money. Now, we don't want to be stupid and blow money. That's embarrassing to yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to be a person that actually, it's almost impossible to reach the level of success that we was able to reach. Just, we didn't come from athletics or sports or the industry. So it's a blessing. Like, we're tremendously blessed. So it would be very unfortunate situation if we make bad decisions and start blowing money. And then it's like, damn, like that's a stupid thing to do. So that's what I always keep in the back of my mind. Like, just don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything stupid, because at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that you can ever do it again. You might be able to do it again. Some people have second runs, but don't do anything stupid, because once you go back to the bottom, nobody's gonna have sympathy for you. So you really gotta like think twice about everything that you do, every decision that you make, because you start to get paranoid after a while, because it's like, damn, it's good to have money, but now you start to think about, what happens if I lose the money? Yeah. That's a bad feeling. Not even feeling that feeling, but it's still a bad feeling actually even thinking about that feeling.
Yeah, there's a thing too. I remember Oprah talking about, like, for years, she always had she was always afraid to go broke. She was like already multi-hundred millions of dollars, but she still had that like trauma, that fear. It took her to be like damn near a billionaire for her to like be like, oh wait, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna
be
okay. Stays with you, right?
Anything can happen. Yeah. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Like, what's enough?
But also, once you've been broke and then you're not broke,
you don't want to go broke.
You don't want to go back.
That's a bad feeling.
That'll keep you up.
That'll keep you up.
That'll
sure.
definitely keep you up.
What is the number one lesson in this book? If you had to pick one thing, I'm sure there's plenty, but like.
Well, I think the title, You Deserve to Be Rich, that we talk about like stocks, real estate, crypto. We talk about all that stuff, but just the mindset of getting people to believe that they're worthy of actually being wealthy. That's important. That's underrated. A lot of times, most people don't actually even think that they are worthy of financial freedom. You don't think that, like, you kind of have what we call realistic expectations for your life. Realistic is a very dangerous word in the English language. So it's getting everyday people to actually think that it's attainable and that they deserve it. Like, because if you don't think that, no matter what you learn, you're still going to self-sabotage. You're not going to fully go into it. You're going to be like, oh, no, I'm going to do this next week, because psychologically you're just thinking that this not even real for me. Like, why am I going to go through all of this process and start investing and clean up my credit? Like, it's not that serious. I just have fun.
Yeah.
That's not good. That doesn't end well.
But that's most people's train of thought.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, definitely the title, but inside of it is that, a lot of times we grow up not realizing that finance is for us, right? And financial education is not for us. And so we want to combat that, right? We want to put something in a language that's understandable for not just our community, but all communities, because we do deserve it, right? Like I always talk about this first line in the book is the American dream is a lie. And it's true, right? Because the American dream is not monolithic, right? Like we're not starting at the same space, right? But if we have tools and we have resources and we have a guide, we can all obtain these things. And so I want people to realize that it's for them, right? The trauma chapter is always important to me because it's like, in order for us to get ahead, we got to know where we started from.
Who's the book for? Like, I'm sure it's for everybody, but like when you're making it, who you talking to?
Everyone.
Our audience, but really people that's trying to figure out the situation. Like people that just graduated from college, people that just graduated from high school, single mom out there working 2 jobs, somebody that's incarcerated. You know, those type of people, because those are the people that champion Earn Your Leisure from the beginning. The people that was left out of the conversation. Like, of course, you know, we have CEOs that listen to us and millionaires, but, you know, people kind of was left out. CNBC wasn't talking to everybody. Wall Street Journal wasn't talking to everybody. So I think that's what kind of carved our niche is that we spoke a language, we looked, we dressed, and we related barbershop, nail salon, people like that, you know, just everyday people that's just trying to take it to the next level. And I feel like that's the majority of people, right? Like the majority of people are still trying to figure it out. You could be making 100,000 still trying to figure it out. You can make 150,000 trying to figure it out. You can make 50,000 trying to figure it out. So we speak to that. We speak to the people that's been left out of the conversation, the people that's trying to be rich. The good thing about getting rich is you only got to do it one time.
That's it.
If you're lucky.
Well,
unless you lose it all, unless you,
that's why you don't do anything stupid.
Right.
That's the key. So you gotta have the guides to make sure that you put the barriers up so that you don't mess it up.
But just think about that, right?
What is the quickest way to get rich?
Oh man, invest your money.
Invest in what?
The quickest way to get rich is to live below your means and invest the difference. Invest in the stock market, long term.
I guess that wouldn't make it. I mean,
long term makes it not quick.
True.
That's by definition.
No, the quickest way to get rich. Let me reframe that. The quickest way to get rich is start a business. America is built for entrepreneurs. Okay. This is how. I mean, that's our blueprint.
Yeah.
So the quickest way is to start a business, live below your means, and invest the difference. It's a 1, 2, 3 process. That's the quickest way to get rich.
Yeah, and if you look if you study the people who are wealthy, literally that's what they've done. Right? If you look at the wealthiest people in the world, they've started a business. Whether it's Elon Musk with Tesla or Jeff Bezos with Amazon, they started a business. They worked in that business. They owned shares in that business when it became publicly traded. As people started buying more shares of that, their wealth has accumulated, right? We watched a man gross $200 billion in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. He didn't sell more cars, right? People just believe in his business. So he created a business. The other thing is people own land, right? So if you look at what Bill Gates has done, he's the largest farmland owner in America. Why is he doing that? Well, he knows that that's something that they can't replicate, right? You can't get any more of that. So study the habits of the wealthy, and then you can start, all right, well, I can take that from it. If they're buying shares, they're creating a business, he's buying land. These are habits that I can do on an everyday basis. Here's how you do it.
But, you got to avoid the traps of poverty. That's important. That's important.
Which is what?
Not have kids, divorces. No, it's real. It's reality.
No, keep going.
These are things.
Them damn kids.
They drain you.
That's a fact. There's a lot of things that put you in a pathway for poverty. You got to try to avoid that, or at least minimize it. Right? Think about that.
I thought you were gonna keep going down the list. Kids, what else?
There's a variety of different things.
Divorce,
damn kids,
jury,
damn marriage.
Marriage can do that.
Home could be a bad. A home could put you in poverty if you don't have the proper education. Some people think, like a lot of people think they're doing the right thing by buying a house, but a house could be a bad investment if not
your
done
property
correctly.
taxes and
nobody
can't maintain it, and you can't. Anything could go wrong if you put everything in a house.
It's true.
Yeah, anything could go
wrong. But most people do. When we get money, it's the first thing we do.
Yeah.
We're gonna buy a house. We're gonna buy a mama house. But that's in the book as well. So like, there's characters that we could follow throughout the book. But there's a chapter where it's like, what do you do with your first million? So like, we're watching people, right? There was a study that more African Americans are investing in the stock market. They're opening brokerage accounts. So people are gaining wealth. But what happens when you get wealth? Like when you get there, who teaches you? Who's your mentor? Right? How do they know? Like, we look at all the people that we looked up to in music and entertainment. All of them are really first generation. So like, they're going to make mistakes along this way. So who are we supposed to look to? And so for those people, it's like, all right, here's a guy. Because we've interviewed billionaires. We interviewed people who were thousandaires or people who were just starting their businesses. there's a lot of knowledge that the people at this level have that the people at the top don't, right? They had a talent, but they don't really understand money. And so if they have tools, now it's like, hey, I want to sit down with Earn Your Leisure. I got to get with these guys. They know what I've never even thought about investing in the stock market. Like we always talk about, you have to make your money make money. It's cool to get it. We got to keep it. We got to preserve it. We got to make sure that it's sustainable for the next generation so that this first generation gets passed down, because we've seen that in other communities. It just hasn't happened in ours yet.
What do you think is happening in this city right now? I just been hearing like all types of conspiracy theory. They're trying to push everybody out. There's this like billionaires row up the block where a lot of the apartments are empty because all these apartments that's being sold for this crazy, they're being made. You know, they're building all of these super high expensive.
I mean, New York City is the home of the most billionaires in the world.
That's a fact.
So at the end of the day, it's the capital of capitalism. So what do you think? I mean, the city is driven by money. So of course that's going to be the top priority, is the people that's actually making the money. But the thing about capitalism is that it's like a scale. You need a level of poverty to support capitalistic society. So there's always going to be people at the bottom. That's the harsh reality of life. There's never going to be a euphoria society where everybody's rich. It's actually done by design. So there is going to always be a bottom class. That's why it's important to educate yourself so you don't stay in a permanent bottom class. But New York City is designed like that. If you really think about it, look at the housing projects. Like it's designed to have a bottom class, and it's designed to have extremely wealthy side.
But where's the middle?
There's no middle.
There's no middle.
Yeah, they'll tell you that they live in the suburbs.
The middle class was always, there was never really a middle class. That was something that was kind of an idea that was pitched. It's a fantasy. And
in this city or in general?
In general.
Wow.
I think
it's the haves and have-nots in life. Either you have it or you don't.
I think at a certain point, they thought that there could be a middle class, right? Even like when we're talking about the housing projects, who they were designed for, right? It was military veterans for the most part, right? Until other demographics moved into those areas. And then they decided, all right, well, we can't live here anymore. We don't want to live with those people. So then they start living outside the city, right? So you get boroughs like outside of Queens, and you get Long Island and Westchester. And then that kind of becomes like, that's what the middle class is, until everybody's like, hey, there's an opportunity for us to have home ownership. And this is like that trauma. Then, you realize that, hey, I can't get approved for a home because of the color of my skin. Like historically, it's been like that until we fight that, right? Like we're resilient to the point where it's like, I don't care what you say. We're going to get to this neighborhood. We're going to get better schools. We're going to get all this better lifestyle. Every time that happens, the barrier gets moved, right? And so like that middle class now, when you look at it present day, I'm with them. I don't think it's this.
It was never this. All right, here's the truth. The middle class is designed from the banks. It's a banking product to feel like but you still broke. You might live in a suburb, but you still broke. You don't have any money. You're not like you're wealthy. You still living paycheck to paycheck. You just live in a house, but you bought a $500,000 house that you're going to end up paying $1 million for. So who's the real winner? You're working every single day. You might take one vacation a year. They sold you the dream that's the goal. That's the middle class. The only person that's winning in that situation is the bank. That's it. And if anything happens, you're going to lose that home. So yeah, you're not on a certain level of poverty, but you're working just to pay bills. That's it. So that's why the idea of the middle classes was never designed for people to be successful. There's only rich and there's poor. That's it.
I think you just depressed me a little bit today.
Nah, don't be. Because you deserve to be rich.
We all deserve to be rich.
That's a fact. Yeah.
What about gambling as that? Because like sports gambling specifically, because I've been seeing this
it's a real
thing. From rappers. What Little Baby just lost like $8 million in one day. Did that break your heart? Because it breaks my heart, hurts me inside. I see Drake doing all these big money, these big gambles, and even like my son's friends, they like betting on sports.
Yeah,
and
the lottery was a poor tax. That's what it was designed for. You ever see lottery billboards in rich neighborhoods? Rich people don't play the lottery. They invest their money in stocks. So my grandmother in the Bronx, like she played the lottery every single week. Her whole entire life. She probably won maybe one or twice, a couple $1,000s, but probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the habits of uneducated people. So it just changes over the course of time.
So do you never gamble?
I don't believe in gambling. For me,
you too?
I used to do sports betting.
And now?
And then I stopped. I just love sports, but I never was a gambler, right? Like I've watched people lose it all.
Yeah.
It's just not a habit that I have. I think that's what kind of makes us like kindred spirits.
I come from a family with some gambling issues and troubles, so I gamble, but I only gamble for recreation.
I mean,
so like if I'm gonna go out and spend $500 for a fun on Saturday, then that's what I will gamble. I will gamble whatever I'm willing to spend to have a good time.
Everything in moderation, but the unfortunate thing is our communities are always unproportionately. We don't do moderation. So yeah, it's cool to have a drink of champagne and wine, but I know a lot of alcoholics. That's you don't see the amount of liquor stores in rich neighborhoods. They still drink, but they don't have to have the liquor store in every single neighborhood. That's important that they have those liquor stores in poor neighborhoods because they know that we're going to disproportionately kill ourselves with alcohol. It's the same thing with drugs. It's the same thing with gambling. It's a problem, and it's a serious problem because now, especially with sports gambling, everybody's promoting it. Yeah. So now everybody's promoting it, and everybody's putting all their money into it, and most people are losing. So before you know it, you can become addicted to gambling. Mm-hmm. It ruins families. You can actually go to jail for it. So it's something that's very dangerous. But when you don't look at something that's dangerous, that's the most dangerous thing. Yeah. When you don't look at something like, oh no, I'm just having a couple of drinks, before you know it, you're an alcoholic, and you don't look at yourself as alcoholic because you're still functioning on a certain level, but no, you have a problem. So it's the same thing with gambling, and that's something that's very, very, very dangerous. It's targeted to black, brown communities at an unproportionate level. You can see it every commercial. You got a rapper or a black podcaster championing it. Yeah. That's not done by design. Yeah. That's not done by accident. It's done by design. Yeah. Why we target? We have the lowest amount of income in America. If we own 1% of the wealth in America, why are we targeting 70% of gambling? It doesn't make any sense. You would think that the people who have the most wealth would be targeted the most because they have the most discretionary income. Mm-hmm. Why are you targeting the poor? That's why they call it a poor tax, because it's an additional amount of money that poor people pay because they're playing off of your emotions to say, okay, if you hit it big, then you're going to win.
Yeah. It goes back to that. What's the quickest way to get rich?
Yeah.
Right.
It's also the quickest way to go broke.
Right.
By the way, if that's it.
The thing is, like, we've seen that habit over and over, right? Yeah. Like in our families. But we still, like, it's the fastest way.
There's also a thing about, like, all the money that's being made in gambling and the proportion to how many black and brown people are benefiting or have investments or interest in, like, casinos or owning and things like that.
And there's none.
Yeah, there's none.
There's no. That's why I said, like, what culture do we have? All the record labels, we don't own it. We don't own the hip hop festivals. We don't own the gambling companies. They let you promote it, but you don't have any ownership in it. They'll put a celebrity's face on it that'll own 5% just to kind of make it famous, but we don't have any real equity or ownership in the situation at all. So nobody's really benefiting from it.
When we talk about the city, when they're trying to bring casinos here,
I know Jay too has been actively.
You hear Nas' name, like
Nas, yeah.
Floyd,
part ownership in a group, right, to bring it here. But again, that's not like, I'm looking at it like, why can't they all just do it together, right? But we got to get to that point. Like, we deserve it. And we deserve to work with each other to do it, right? Mm-hmm. It may not be gambling. That there could have been other businesses that we could have. Real estate. We know that this is the capital of capitalism. When you talk about the real estate market, I'm sure people watch Netflix and they see selling this. These people, $100 million homes and $50 million condos. We should be in part of the development that's building these buildings that actually can benefit from it. Other than, hey, let's do it in alcohol, let's do it in entertainment, let's do it in gambling. Like, we deserve all that.
You're gonna see the same things: liquor, weed, and gambling. Cannabis companies, liquor brands, and online gambling. That's what you're going to see.
Word. Again, you depressing me.
No, we didn't mean
to. Is there any good news in any of this?
The good news is that there's a new blueprint to help you change that mindset.
Yeah, bring it back around with the promotion.
Like, I'm telling you, for years, like, we've been doing Earn Your Legion since 2019. Every day we probably get posed with a question of how to do something, which is great. And so we wanted to put a manifesto together so that even if you don't see us and run into us, the questions can be answered.
There it is.
So you don't have to go to another piece of literature anymore. We don't have to keep talking about the guy who made Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I know everybody's read that. No disrespect to him. I read it too.
It's a good book.
But, like, this is the new manuscript for the community.
I love that.
You deserve to be rich.
I have a speed round of questions for you experts. This is a rapid fire finance.
Go.
Okay, ready? Crypto or flipping houses?
Crypto.
Stocks or art?
Stocks.
I'm not going to ring the bell every time. It's going to be annoying. Car, lease, or own?
Lease.
It depends on the car, but lease most of the time.
Mostly.
It depends.
All right, tell them quick why.
So, like a G-Wagon, for instance, it holds its value. So it's actually more beneficial to buy a G-Wagon than to lease it. But most cars depreciate at a very high rate, so it's more beneficial to lease it.
Why? I thought you were going to give me a chance to go.
Nah, he said it for you. Home mortgage or rent?
That is really case by case. So a lot of people who are wealthy will rent because they don't want to have to deal with the burden of owning homes, property tax, bills, election, all that stuff. So case by case.
I agree.
What he said?
What he said.
$10 million up front or $1 million for life?
I'll take the 10 mil.
The fuck is going on out there? Trying to do a goddamn show in here. Jeez.
10 mil. Yeah, $1 million life is like, but I'll take 10 mil.
Because who knows how long you're going to live? Let's be honest.
And you can flip that.
I know what we're going to do with the 10 mil.
Flip the 10 mil.
Yeah. Not good for. That's probably not a good answer for everybody. But if you know what to do with the money,
yeah,
then,
if
you have the book,
we can make the one. Like, here's the thing, right?
If you have the book, $10 million up front.
$10 million up front, right? We can put that $10 million in the market, the S&P, right? Let's put it in the index, right? That's going to net 7%. You're almost at the 1 mil already.
What's a better? I know the answer to this. What's a better flex? Owning a private jet or having zero debt?
I'll take the zero debt.
Owning a private jet. I mean, what were you talking about? A lot of people have zero debt.
I guess you know.
Not a lot of people have private jets. It's a bigger flex for sure.
Gold bars or Bitcoin stacks?
Bitcoin
for sure.
Luxury watch collection or diversified stock portfolio?
Stocks.
That's good.
Yeah.
Start a business or get a job?
Start a business. I've done both. I'm starting a business.
Start a business. But there's nothing wrong with jobs. Shout
out to everybody that has a job. There are high-paying jobs. That's a fact.
And not every business is successful.
People, that's a fact.
People know Tim Cook. He doesn't own Apple. He works for Apple. That is his job. He makes $147 million a year. Flex.
Save 10% of income or invest 10% in personal development?
This is 10%.
The personal development is important. That's important.
Yeah,
it's important.
This is supposed to be a speed round, guys.
Personal development.
I'll go the opposite then, because.
Just to keep it spicy?
Yeah, keep it spicy.
Okay. And last but not least, dinner with Hove or $1 million?
Oh, you upped it. I thought it was 500,000.
Was it 500,000?
Inflation. I'm having the dinner.
Over $1 million? 500,000 is one thing. 1 million?
500. You had me at 500. $1 million. I gotta take the million. Shout out to Hov. I gotta take that meal ticket.
Yeah, I'm still gonna take the dinner.
You're gonna still take the dinner?
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Do I have money? Am I my present self?
$1 million is different.
Or like I got no money?
As your present self.
My present self? I'll take the dinner.
You take the dinner.
Yeah, and Hov will probably say take the money. Hov gonna say take the money. He gonna say like
2 words.
Should have took the money. But his influence,
I'm proud of you, man.
His influence has been so strong on me that I'd have to have the conversation about like how he's inspired pretty much all of this.
All right, but what if the dinner's only like an hour and a half long? What are you gonna get?
I said present me. Like I'm okay. I'll be all right.
Nah.
You taking the money? My advisor would tell me to take the money.
$1 million is different.
So 500,000, you would take the 500.
I would contemplate.
All right, I'll consult with my financial advisor. That'll be my answer.
There it is. Well done, guys. Well done. Do you believe that everything has a price?
Yes.
Because that also could be a fun game. How much? I used to play this game with my girlfriends. How much to?
Everything.
Now that gets
insert
dangerous.
Whatever crazy question.
Everything is for sale.
And then people be like, no, for no money. And I'd be like, what about 50 million? They'd be like, damn, I would do it. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, there's everything.
I wouldn't smoke crack for any amount of money, though.
You wouldn't? No. All right, this is a good point.
Give me money. How much?
Listen, right now, if I said to you, one time, this pipe right here, one time.
It might be a lifelong. I might be, you know what I'm saying?
No, what's the amount, though? What's the amount?
There is no amount.
$20 million to tax-free, hit this pipe one time.
No, because what's on the other side of that? I might be.
No, but that's it. There's no conversation. That's the deal. 20 million tax-free under the table, or hit this pipe one time.
I can't do it.
No pipe for you.
No pipe.
You?
I'm gonna consult with my financial advisor.
By the way, this is a fun party game, guys. You take the wildest things and you put the money on it, and you will learn a lot about the people at the table.
How much crack is it? Is it a little crack or a lot of crack?
By the way, don't do crack, anybody.
Sprinkle.
Just put it down out there. But do get this book. You deserve to be rich. We all deserve to be rich. Congratulations, guys.
We appreciate you as always.
And well done. I can't wait to read it. Thank you. One time, earn your leisure, Rashad, Troy, Power 105.1.